Hello everyone, I'm Shelby Turner.
My name is Giovanny Miranda, and this is JP Catholic News.
On behalf of the JPC News team, we would like to welcome the class of 2018 to our JP Catholic community, and we hope you've had a great first 2 weeks of college.
And to all our returning students of our JP Catholic community, we hope your break was relaxing and you're ready for another successful quarter.
This fall quarter, the JPC News program has 8 new members, which includes Gio and myself, along with 6 freshmen. Also, what's new this quarter is that we have our Catholic News segment premiering today.
And that segment we have all been waiting for, right, Shelby?
Yes, we have, Gio. But before we get to the before we get to the news segment, we have a few segments to get through first. So, starting with our business news segment.
So let's get to that one. Here's Andrew with business.
Thank you, Giovanni and Shelby. Could you one day charge your phone wirelessly through the air? Though such technologies have been experimented with since as early as 1891 by Nikola Tesla, companies like Witricity think it could finally be economically and commercially viable, and have plans to market such technology in various laptops and phones as early as next year. One thing you won't have to wait till next year for is Microsoft's newly unveiled Lumia 950 and 950 XL phones. Announced alongside various other hardware products at a recent New York City event, the phones will be available as early as November as part of an ongoing effort to promote Microsoft's latest operating system, Windows 10. In other news, Volkswagen's emissions test scandal, in which it was discovered the company had designed millions of diesel cars that didn't meet emission standards to alter their performance into acceptable parameters when being tested, continued to cause severe damage to the company, with their CEO Martin Winterkorn resigning last week. Volkswagen has lost more than a third of its market value since the beginning of the scandal in late September. That's all I have for business news today. Back to Giovanni and Shelby.
Thank you, Andrew. And now for some breaking local news. SeaWorld of San Diego announced that they will be building a new multi-million-dollar orca tank in order to offer a newer and larger enclosure for its orcas. Animal rights activists such as PETA are angry at SeaWorld and are accusing the amusement park of trying to appease consumers about its treatment of orcas ever since Blackfish premiered 2 years ago.
SeaWorld has been receiving quite a lot of heat from animal rights activists for a while now in regards to the treatment of their sea animals. Let's hope they have the right intention this time.
I'm curious to see how that will extend to other treatments of their animal enclosures in the park as well.
I suppose only time will tell, Gio. And here's Anna with entertainment news.
Thank you, Shelby. Now, in gaming news, upcoming game Rise of the Tomb Raider released an exclusive Descent into Legend trailer on Entertainment Weekly's website. Lara Croft's latest adventure takes her to literal new highs and lows as the tomb raiding explorer finds herself on a new, dangerous adventure in Rise of the Tomb Raider. See the full trailer at Entertainment Weekly's website. Pokemon Go, which is an iPhone and Android compatible app that will allow users to find, catch, trade, and battle Pokemon as they venture out into the cruel bright light of the real world. This comes out soon. To check it out, see the official trailer on the Pokemon channel on YouTube. Now in movie news, Pixar's Cars 3 will now rev its engines for June 16th, 2017, the spot which was previously held by Toy Story 4. That love story about Woody and Bo Peep has been pushed back a full year to June 15, 2018. Marvel Studios has announced that Ant-Man and the Wasp will hit theaters as part of the MCU's Phase 3 on July 6, 2018, finally marking the first time that a female hero's name has made it into a Marvel title. In book news, Stephanie Meyer shocked the world when she announced that the 10th anniversary editions of Twilight will come packaged with a new story, Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined, with gender-swapped characters. The human protagonist is a boy named Bo, attracted to a mysterious golden-eyed vampire named Edith. Singer Selena Gomez took a break early last year from her touring to handle her health. Now, the 23-year-old singer is opening up about exactly what she was suffering from. She says, quote, "I was diagnosed with lupus, and I've been through chemotherapy. That's what my break was really about. I could have had a stroke," end quote. That's all I have for entertainment today. Back to our main anchors.
Thank you, Anna. Yesterday marked the end of the search for survivors reported missing from the sunken cargo ship off the Bahamas. El Faro was headed to Puerto Rico with cars, among other products, when it was caught in a hurricane lasting about 3 hours.
The ship sent a distress signal in which the captain stressed the ship was leaning at 18 degrees in the face of 50-foot waves and 140-mile-per-hour winds. It was the last message reported from the ship.
Please keep El Faro in your prayers as we go through this week, through this difficult time with them.
Definitely. And now on to world news with Reagan.
Thank you, Shelby. This past Sunday, the Ark of Triumph in Palmyra had been reduced to a pile of rubble from an attack made by the Islamic State. It was confirmed that the arch had been around since the Roman Empire. It had been made as a commemoration of a visit from the Roman emperor back in the day, but it had no religious significance, marking this attack to be one of spite. This was not the first ISIS attack in Palmyra, as this summer the Temple of Bel and the Temple of Balshamin were destroyed. Syria has called for immediate liberation, particularly in Palmyra, to help stabilize the area. In other news, the World Bank announced that for the first time in history that the number of people living in extreme poverty will drop below 10% during the end of 2015. 702 million people, or 9.6% of the world population, will have lived this year on around $1.25 a day. This is all thanks to the redefinition of poverty, around $1.90 per day, and helped to the efforts of the United Nations, whose goal is to end global poverty by the year 2030. This goal is a part of the UN Sustainable Development Goals set to combat poverty, inequality, and climate change. That's all for today. Back to Giovanny and Shelby.
Thank you, Reagan. And today's biggest blunder, grocery chain Hagen from the Northwest filed for bankruptcy in less than a year after buying 148 stores in California. Hagen underestimated steep competition in SoCal, where it focused most of its operations in Orange County and San Diego County.
Hagen did not attract shoppers because of high prices and a brand that is completely unknown outside of the Northwest. Hagen then sued Albertsons for $1 billion in damages, accusing Albertsons of market sabotage.
Market analysts said Hagen's biggest mistake was failing to market themselves to Southern California consumers, in which it faced competition in a crowded marketplace where low prices dominated consumers.
And now they're suffering for the consequences of their actions.
Very true, Shelby. One of those is Albertsons is now suing them back for loss of inventory.
Well, I hope things turn out for them.
As do I, Shelby. Let's move on to politics with Jenna.
Thank you, Giovanni. In political news, tension rises with the latest mass shooting in Oregon. President Obama, along with many others, are calling for more gun control to help put an end to what seems to be an ongoing problem. Many right-leaning pro-gun activists claim it's a mental health issue rather than a gun issue. In election news, Hillary Clinton, still leading the Democratic race, has been increasing her time on the air in an attempt to forego her email scandal. The email server, still being investigated by the FBI, definitely has the right hitting hard and questioning Clinton's trustworthiness to be president. On the flip side, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump still maintains a steady lead in the polls for 3 straight months. Time and time again, controversy surrounds the multi-billionaire, but he manages to grasp an average of 25% of the Republican playing field. Countdown to election 2016 is 398 days and 13 months away. Still plenty of time for undecided voters to make a decision. Well, that's all I have for politics today. Back to Giovanni and Shelby.
Thank you, Jenna. This year, Knights of Columbus, run by Ben Moore and Brendan Flynn, hosted a film festival they named the Columbian Film Festival, which was dedicated to raising awareness of the pro-life cause and have been rightly noticed for their contribution last weekend.
Last weekend, our Knights of Columbus formation here at the university received the Culture of Life Award from the 2015 College Councils Conference in New Haven, Connecticut.
Congratulations to all our Knights for this prestigious trophy.
Yes, congratulations. And to our filmmakers, our Knights will be making the Columbian Film Festival an annual event. So do keep in mind that if you're interested in getting involved, the next Columbian Film Festival will be in spring of 2016.
All right, let's move on to sports news with Joe.
Hello, I'm Joe here with sports. Dodgers won against the Padres last Sunday in the last game of the regular season. Clayton Kershaw became the first pitcher since 2002 to reach 300 strikeouts on the season. Also, It was the first time the Dodgers had led the MLB in homers since 1983. As for the Padres, catcher Derek Norris caught his 22nd infield hit of the season when he reached base on an infield single in the first inning against Kershaw. Yes, Kershaw. And now for football. Last Sunday, the Jets defeated the Dolphins, Houston Texans beat the Falcons, New York Giants crushed the Buffalo Bills, Chicago Bears ransacked the Oakland Raiders, Bengals beat the Chiefs, Colts kicked the Jaguars, but then the Panthers ate the Buccaneers, Washington Redskins killed Philadelphia Eagles, San Diego Chargers scorched the Browns, Rams stampeded the Cardinals, Broncos trampled the Vikings, Packers packed the 49ers, Saints bested the Cowboys, and Seahawks ate the Lions from Detroit. In local news, the JPCU flag football squad had its first gig Sunday at noon. The soccer game last Tuesday, September 29th, in Grape Day Park was a smashing success. And as a reminder for all interested athletes, be sure to check the Student Life Facebook page for details and schedule updates for all sports. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Joseph. As of Monday, October 5th, California has become the newest state to offer the right to euthanasia. Governor Jerry Brown of the Golden State, ironically a lifelong Catholic and Jesuit seminarian, approved the bill after he discussed how he personally would want the option to end his pain if he was suffering and his situation was not worth living. This makes California the 5th state to pass the bill in the United States of America.
For someone claiming to be Catholic, it appears his actions don't really correlate with the Catholic teachings.
I certainly agree, but all we can do is pray. Let's move on to Catholic news with Chris.
Thank you, Giovanni. As promised, our Catholic news segment is kicking off this week with a report on the apostolic visitation of Pope Francis to the U.S., which concluded on September 27th. His Holiness had a packed schedule over the 6 days he was here, visiting several different churches, as well as the White House and Capitol Hill, making Francis the first pontiff in history to address a joint session of Congress. The overall theme of the Pope's message emphasized openness to the mercy of God, respect for the dignity of all human life, and of concern for the poor. On September 23rd, His Holiness canonized Blessed Junipero Serra, a Franciscan who established the California mission system and who successfully evangelized many Native Americans within that region. The Pope rounded off his visit by celebrating Mass at the World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia on the 27th. In other news, the much-anticipated Synod on the Family kicked off this past week on October 4th and is scheduled to run until the 25th. The general theme of the Synod is being described as the vocation and mission of the family in the Church and in the modern world. The Synod is expected to address a number of controversial questions, including whether or not the Church should allow the divorced and remarried to receive Holy Communion. In a recent interview with a Hungarian Catholic newspaper, Cardinal Peter Erdo stated that the majority of the Synod Fathers are opposed to the idea on the basis that doing so would contradict the Church's doctrine on the indissolubility of marriage. We'll be sure to keep you updated in the coming weeks as the conclusions of the Synod are made available to us. Well, that's all I've got for today. Be sure to check back next week.
Thank you, Chris. Before we close this week's broadcast, we would like to remind everyone that the Coffee House Talent Show is next Saturday, so please come support your fellow students.
Also, for those wondering what the weather will be this weekend and upcoming week, Friday will be 100 degrees, so it's beach week. Get those surfboards and volleyballs out. Saturday through Sunday will be in the mid-low 90s. Tuesday will be in the high 80s, and the rest of next week throughout the weekend will be in the low 80s. Perfect for pool parties and barbecues. Well, that's all we have for this week. I'm Giovanny Miranda.
And I'm Shelby Turner. Thank you for tuning in to JPC News, and have a wonderful week.
Please be safe, and remember, God bless.